Hey traders, Leaf West. I'm just working on my videos that go over the various indicators that I use for my swing trading and my intraday trading. The one I'm going to talk about with this video are my dynamic pivots that my system uses for intraday trading. So I've expanded my 3-minute chart. This is a 3-minute chart on Apple. This is from Friday's action, August 17th. Um, and I've gotten rid of most of my indicators off here. I have the moving averages, the 20 and the 50 EMAs, which I have on my charts, and I have my trend tracking color-coded candles. But again, go to that video for a better description of how those work. So I'll assume that you've done that, and I won't talk about that at all, hopefully. I'll just talk about the dynamic pivots and what they are and what I try to use them for. In essence, the software code that I have at the beginning of each day, which whatever stock I have on my screen, it starts to calculate from the first candle of a day the dynamic pivots using the low of the day and the high of the day. So if you try to understand how that works, for example, here's the high of the day in the morning, and then price does not make a higher high for a while. So that's why these dynamic pivots are flat here. So until you start either breaking lower and making new lows of the day, or higher and making new highs of the day, the dynamic pivots will not change, right? It's just so you kind of understand the concept of what that does. And really why I have them and why I think they're useful is that many algorithms and hedge funds use computer trading, which use these levels for support and resistance. So they're kind of key to use, and they also have a side benefit, I think, in that they kind of, it's almost like a filter. It tells you whether or not the stock's behavior is bullish or bearish. For example, obviously this was OPEX day, so there wasn't a lot of movement in a lot of stocks, but Apple was one of the stocks that did quite well. It made an all-time high in the name. So it was a very bullish day, but as you can see, just by looking at these dynamic pivots, price basically got above the 75% level and did not want to get back below that. So that's a sign to tell you, don't try and short Apple. And I actually did some videos on Friday about that and just the futility of trying to pick tops and what have you. But anyways, you can find those on the site as well. But when price is staying above the 75% dynamic pivot, then you want to look for pullbacks to that level to get long. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the levels I use are 25% on the bottom, 50% for the middle yellow one, and the top one, the light blue one, is 75%. So again, uh, um, this looks at the intraday range for the stock from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and then starts again the next day. And they're basically just support and resistance tools, like any other kind of support and resistance. But because of the predominance of computerized trading, they're actually quite important, I think. And the more you use them, the more you see it. So let's go back over a couple of days and try and show you some examples of that. Um, so here you can see this as a trying to hold support. It doesn't hold support, and now, but it got back above and it's trying to hold support and making higher lows. So that's a good sign. And then once we finally show that we can hold support and price moves above it, then that's your signal. And so in this example, price pulled back and bounced quickly off the support line. And again, very bullish behavior in Apple that day. Prior day on Apple, price opened up relatively flat, tried to go higher, couldn't pull back into the range of the day, and was showing, I think, pretty good strength here in that it was making these smallish bars, doji bars, that were holding above the 25% dynamic pivot. And I'll often use, when show me strength and ability to hold support price, I'll often buy on the break of the 50% level, with the assumption that it's going to try and go back above the 75% level. So that's what you can use these levels for. It's just a level to trade against. Price gets above, trending higher, pulls back right to it, makes a new high, pulls back right to it, makes a lower high. So you get a bit suspicious there. In this case, what happens next? Well, price breaks below it. So you want to see, it's like any other support and resistance line. You want to see how far price will move away from it, and whether or not price will get right back above it, reject going lower and actually get back above it. And in this case, Apple, it did that. So again, another bullish day. You can actually use these just as, okay, well, this is a very bullish day, right? So if you want to take Apple home long, or take home some call options, this is a good sign for that purpose. Good prior day. A little different day. If you just look at this entirety, you can sort of see the difference in how it looks. In this day, Apple opened with some big emotional bars, then spent a bit of time inside the high to low. Couldn't really hold. It was only like 3 bars that closed above the 75% level, came back in. So it's not showing as much strength as it does on a strong trending day. So that's information in its own respect, in that you shouldn't be expecting a strong trending right from the get-go when price can't get above that 75% level and hold there. So, maybe it's telling you to take it easy and see what price was going to show you. So price pulls back to the 25% level, breaks it, but holds prior swing low from the late day, prior day, gets back above, goes to the top, makes a lower high, can't get above and close above the 75% level, and then does this dance, right? So it pulls back into the range of the day, below the 50% level, tries to break back above, makes a lower high, and closes back below the 50% level. So again, this is showing weakness. So obviously you can see that price breaks down, but this is giving you hints, right? You can see the moving averages are actually the 20 is below the 50. My 20 is the gold line, my 50 is the blue line, and that is a negative posture for the moving averages. So in this case, price again makes a doji and tries to bounce off the lower support level. Can't get above the middle one, the 50% level, right? Pops above but can't close above. And then we come back down and we're making smallish candles with lower highs. Moving averages are pointing down. So what do you want to do? So I'll often use these levels actually as my limit orders to try and either get long on a move above either the 50 or the 75, or to get short on a move below the 25% level. So here we break the 25% level, small candles, but we can't get back above. So then eventually price gives away, and away we go. And if I'd been in this trade and use this level to get short, I would use it as a stop as well. I would wait for a close above that level, which actually the close here was 40 cents. Lower level's 31, so I would have been stopped in this candle here, on this candle here. So then what did price do? It came back up to the 50% pivot level and could not really show strength against that level. So then it pulled back to the moving averages. Now the moving averages have crossed over. They're in bullish posture position. Hold support, and we go back up, back up. So that's the end of the day. So really, wouldn't be trading this kind of signal into the end of the day, but that tells you to expect maybe a stronger day the next day. We didn't end the day on weakness, so that kind of helps you for the next day as well. Let's just go maybe one more. Right, so we gap higher this day. Right, why do we gap higher? Because the prior day we spent most of the afternoon above the 75% level. So that shows you strength. So again, if you want to take it home overnight, that's fine. That's a good signal for that, to do that. So we gap higher, price gets above and expands away, makes new highs, new highs, new highs, pulls back into the range. Hang on one sec, guys. All right, sorry about that. So we price pushed higher, new highs, new highs, new highs, and then we'll wait to see what kind of pullback we get. We pulled back for a couple candles, got back above, made a new high. Pulled back and made even tighter, smaller candles around the 75% level, even more so than the earlier candles. Well, earlier candles in the day are more emotional usually, so they are usually a little bit larger. But this, the consolidation around the new high pullback with the consolidation around a level, whether it be 75% or 20, or 50%, with small candles, to me is a bullish sign. So here we go. We flip to our green candles and we're off to the races. And in this case, again, we get a warning for a pullback with the dark blue candles with the pink dots, pink divergence dots. In this case is a little different, right? We pull back and we pull a little deeper into the range price. We pull a little deeper below the 75% level. So it's a little different than earlier. The candles are a bit bigger than these ones. And when we pop back above, we really only close above for two candles. One's a doji, so that's a reversal candle by itself. But anyways, then we break down below and we actually show more weakness into back here. So that's just a subtle difference of how price is reacting relative to these dynamic pivots. All right, so but the price action so far is bullish, but now we're looking maybe at a bigger counter trend move that was warned to us by the extreme trend candles. So price breaks below the 50, comes back up, can't get really above the 50. So that's showing a bit of weakness. So now we want to see, if you're trying to get long, you want to see, okay, what is it going to do when it pulls back? Well, it made a new low, but it held at 25. So aggressive players may say, oh, I'm going to bide here on the acceptance of this as support. But for me, what I want to see, I'd rather see is price come back up and see what it does at resistance. Here, it really didn't show a lot of strength, and we're getting towards the end of the day, but I would rather buy on the pullback after this first move higher when it shows that it's going to accept this lower level as being a real support to make for a trade higher. In this case, you get towards the end of the day, and the next bounce, two bounces really don't get back above the 50% level, so that's showing you something. And so then when you come back down and you're holding, trying to hold support here at 25, if you're trying to get long, or if you're looking to get long, this is not positive signals for me. So instead of guessing that this 25%, this first 25% test is going to work, I'd rather see subsequent action and then get confirmation. Like for me, if price had come up here, broken above the 50, pulled back below it, got quickly back above, that for me is a bullish acting stock. For me, this pullback, and sure enough, if you're going to be brave enough and play a level and assume it's going to hold, that's great. But I'd rather get a little more odds for a trade. It's like this one here. When it starts to move higher, are you going to assume that it's going to blow through this and go back up? Well, no, I'd rather see what it does at the next resistance area. Well, here it failed. What is it going to do the next one? Well, it failed, but let's see what it does after that. Well, it held here, so that's a positive sign. So now, again, if we would have got it back above this, pulled back maybe back under it, but quickly got back above, that shows me it wants to go higher. So there you go. But in this case, it did not want to show. It showed that it did not want to go higher. So if it doesn't want to go higher, it's probably going to go lower. So then we come back down. We can't bounce off here. We're flagging sideways. And then we get a little bit of flush into the end of the day. Right? And we showed weakness at the end of the day. So that's not the time you want to hold Apple overnight or buy call options for an assumption that price is going to be strong at the opening of the next day. All right, so that's sort of how I use my dynamic pivots. And I don't have those for Thinkorswim. I just have them in eSignal in terms of available for you guys. Okay, hope that helped you guys understand what I try to do with those with that tool, and we'll talk to you soon.